project recovery, bath salts, and a heating pad. Visit bankofamerica.com/more rewarding to apply now. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Your smart speaker can play your favorite sports station. Just say, play 96.9 The Game on iHeartRadio. WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach, FM 96.9 The Game, the home of Orlando City Soccer Club.
Time to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
Happy Tuesday morning, everybody. We are loud, live, and local every morning, 6 to 9:30 a.m. Right here on FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, HD 101.1-2. You can also listen to us on your smart speaker. You can download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to us that way. You can find us on podcast. You can watch us on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, search for the Open Mic live stream, and you can see us conduct our radio show. In fact, I've got my Slippery Rock sweatshirt on today. You guys know where Slippery Rock is?
Slippery Rock.
Slippery Rock University.
Ooh, that sounds like Tennessee.
No, nope. That would be Pennsylvania, Slippery Rock.
Okay. I was in the right general area of the country.
What?
What? Tennessee, Pennsylvania, it's northeaster-ish.
Everything's north of us, you buffoon.
No, what are you talking about?
Oh, wow. Welcome to Open Mic. I, of course, am Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel. Adam Reardon is the Deceptive Intellect. And, of course, you just heard Austin Pistolka. He's the Sultan of Sound.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. I'm the Sultan of Sound, and I'm also the talker of
Prince
tickets.
of Prizes.
Prince of Prizes. That's so much better than what I was going with, because guess what? We're giving away a pair of tickets to the Magic versus the Raptors tonight. We are going to give it away to one of our early bird listeners, so be listening this hour.
Ooh. Maybe we could use our spontaneous text question.
Maybe
early bird spontaneous text question responder.
Yeah.
We'll get the tickets.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. We want to hear from you throughout the course of the show. Why is that? Because we are the People's Show. That's why. You can give us a call, 407-916-8255. You can tweet us at 96.9 The Game. You can also text us on our Academy Sports and Outdoors text line. That's 50857. First chance at $1,000. We do it every weekday morning. We actually give you two chances, but the first chance is at 7:10 a.m. this morning, and then the second chance is 1 hour later at 8:10 a.m. this morning. Make an appointment for those two times. Be listening, and you could win $1,000. We like to begin every Open Mic radio show with an early morning inspirational quote of the day. This comes from the great Jim Rohn, who once said, and I quote, "If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse." End quote. Any deeper thoughts to that quote?
I think that one's like pretty surface level.
Yeah, but you're the Deceptive Intellect. You can take it to the next level.
Listen, that guy didn't mean anything but what he just said. I mean, he was obviously talking to his kids. I mean, that guy, when he was, his kid was like, "Hold on, Dad, let me write that down." Hold on.
Pretty sure he was a coach of a sports team at that point.
Yeah, that's right.
He was talking to his girls' soccer team or his boys' wrestling team.
Listen, girls, maybe that's what was said to the girls' soccer team pregame last night before their district tournament victory 4-0. 4-0 over South Lake, getting ready to take on the number 1 seed Edgewater on Friday night.
Wow.
Packed house.
Yeah.
Packed house.
Big time.
Big. This is the big game weekend. Everybody's talking about. They're talking about Lyman versus Edgewater Friday night is what they're really talking about.
Wow. I remember way back when I played on the Interlochen High School baseball team, Gainesville Sun All Area second baseman.
What?
Yeah, was I. So we were playing in the district tournament against Lake Butler, all right? They were the number 1 seed. We were the underdog, and it's the last inning. The Bulldog gets on base. Robin, my good buddy, he gets on base, all right? We're down 2 runs, all right? This next guy comes up, big, muscular guy. Anthony was his name. I can't remember his last name. Pooh Bear was his nickname, though.
Whoa.
And he hits a screaming double, all right? A screaming double. Robin is on... what is he? He's on first base. I score. All right. That puts us down a run. Robin, who's slow, only stops at third. All right.
Down by 1.
So we're going to have men on second and third. All right. Except Pooh Bear with his screaming double makes the turn at second base and gets picked off.
Oh, no. Oh, I can hear the radio call now. With a screaming line drive to deep center field, it's Pooh Bear rounding first. Mike Bianchi slides into home. He goes for second base. Oh my gosh, he turned for third. No! Oh no, it's all over. Picked off
Pooh
at second base.
I've never forgiven Pooh Bear to this day.
Pooh Bear, listen, I don't know much about baseball. I'm not a baseball guy. This is high school baseball. With all that pressure, Robin, you're going home because we're banking on that center fielder. We're banking on that center fielder with his Raul Mondesi hose out there to gun you down at the plate.
Robin was lucky to be at third on the screaming double. Okay. Anyway, so that is my high school district story. And no, I did not have to slide into home because I was the fastest white man in Putnam County at the time.
That's right.
Okay.
My bad on the call.
Sliding into home. He was already standing on second. On a screaming double to the wall. He
slid into home for flair.
It was Robin behind him, not in front of him. The guy wasn't sliding into home.
All right, real quick, we were talking yesterday about whether this year's Super Bowl would have higher ratings or lower ratings than last year's Super Bowl. All right, so I did some research yesterday. Last year's Super Bowl averaged 102 million viewers across several channels. That was on Fox, several streaming outlets, all of that. All right, so 102 million viewers. That number was up slightly from the year before, about 100 million across the CBS platforms. All right, TV, streaming outlets, all of that. All right, but traditionally, Super Bowls over the last 6 or 7 years have been going down in ratings, except for last year. They were up slightly, all right? And we all know that sports ratings have been down drastically across the board. Some people have tried to say that the main reason is because sports has become politicized, but I don't believe that's the main reason. NBA ratings, obviously, down drastically from last year. So, too, were Stanley Cup finals ratings, the U.S. Open, golf down tremendously, NASCAR, just go down, Major League Baseball, World, everything was down drastically. And I believe the reason is because of the glut and oversaturation of sports during the pandemic. Everything was going on all at once. The NBA finals, of course, usually take place in June. Well, they were taking place in August, September. They were going head to head with football. And remember this, ladies and gentlemen, every sport is going to have a dramatic ratings drop when going head to head against the NFL. The Super Bowl, however, is not competing against the NFL. The Super Bowl is the NFL, all right? And the Super Bowl, in my opinion, is immune from ratings drops. The Super Bowl is the most watched TV program on television every year and has been for I don't know how many straight years, 50 years. What are we, Super Bowl 55? I don't think it was back in the early days, but it has been over the last 40 or 50 years. All right, Super Bowl, always the most watched program on television. Here's why I think this year's Super Bowl ratings will be up significantly from last year. First of all, Tom Brady trying to lead a new team to the Super Bowl. Would you guys admit that's a huge draw?
Absolutely.
Patrick Mahomes, would you consider him to be a huge draw? Mahomes, would you? Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Holmes.
Patrick Mahomey.
Mahomes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think this is about if you are the NFL and you're looking for things to be excited about as far as ratings are concerned. This matchup, especially at the top of the food chain, which is the quarterback position, is as good as you could ask for.
You're absolutely right, but that's not the main reason I think this is going to be a huge increase. All right, so the Nielsen ratings, all right, we all know that the Super Bowl traditionally draws big crowds at viewing parties, bars, restaurants. Well, the Nielsen ratings don't count those watching outside of the home. So the actual audience size is usually bigger than what the numbers portray. This year, because of the pandemic, you won't have nearly as many people watching outside the home. Therefore, according to the Bulldog here, therefore the Super Bowl ratings with everybody, or at least a lot of people staying home and watching, therefore Super Bowl ratings are going to skyrocket this year. Agree or disagree?
So you say skyrocket. Will they be up? Maybe. I guess if that's part of the equation. I just don't know how they measure that stuff. Is it like in radio where you have a little beeper hooked to your belt, and then if it hears the broadcast, it knows that's what you're watching? Because then why would it matter if your beeper was on at a Twin Peaks or at your house?
It's a little more accurate now because of everyone having their own box, their own cable box that is connected to the internet as well. So for a lot, I believe this is true. This is coming from pulling from knowledge from college. Was that now because everything is connected to the internet, they are able to monitor that as long as you give consent when you sign up for your cable provider.
Oh, so you can tell through everybody. It's no longer just.
I think it's more accurate because of that.
Those 15 guys or girls out there that are making big giant programming decisions for the rest of us.
Right.
Yeah, you know what we need to do.
Mark Daniels.
We need to ask Mark Daniels.
Please.
We need to ask Mark Daniels.
Mark Daniels must hate being the smartest guy in every room he goes into because everybody's answer. Listen, we're not the only Mark Daniels information conduit out there. I'm sure there's other people out there. Mark gets up and the first thing he does after his workout and daily affirmations and all that is like, I get all these text messages, questions I have to answer for my friends out here.
Google never heard of him. Mark Daniels, what you got?
Right.
All right, straight ahead, it is Groundhog Day, and that is the genesis of our our spontaneous text question. That's next on Open Mic.
Whether you're
limping off the floor.
Watch his foot right there. Left foot stepped on.
Okay, that's different from what he was dealing with earlier. That's the left.
And that hurts. Yeah. Anybody that's played the game, you know exactly what that feels like. Oh!
It's Groundhog Day today, and you know what that means. It means Punxsutawney Phil popped his head up at the Amway Center, saw his shadow, and declared 6 more weeks of magic injuries. Yeah.
Oof. Rough.
You just heard that injury from the other night. Aaron Gordon against the Raptors goes down, rolls his ankle, and we found out yesterday he's out indefinitely. The team has called it a high-grade ankle sprain. The team did not specify a timeline on his return, but The Athletic reported that Gordon is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. So, another Magic player on the injury list for an extended period of time. So,
another Magic injury disappearing act. Ta-da!
Yeah.
I believe it's
By the way,
time
Mark-
to tank.
Well, your tanking idea is not sounding too bad right now. And Mark Daniels, shame on Mark Daniels. He just ruins my entire argument about why Super Bowl ratings are going to go up because I said that the Nielsen ratings don't count. The viewers who watch in sports bars. Here's what Mark Daniels just texted me. Out of home viewing is counted in Super Bowl ratings. Nielsen started counting using a formula 3 years ago.
Ooh, rough.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know what? I stand by my argument. Super Bowl ratings will be up significantly this year because that formula Mark Daniels is talking about, it doesn't take into account pandemic, all right? People are going to be home watching at the pandemic, and Nielsen's in-home monitoring, much more accurate, in my opinion. Much more accurate than Mark Daniels' out-of-home viewing formula.
What's significant to you? Between 5 and 10%, or were you thinking greater than 10% increase?
No. I'm not going to go overboard here.
But 5%?
I'll go between 5. Okay, if the usual is about 100 million, I'll go 107 million.
Whoa.
How many percent is that?
7.
7%. 107 million. I'm going.
So if this was The Price is Right and we're playing that yodeler guy that goes up the hill and I give you between 5 and 8, you'll take that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'll bet you a share of Nokia stock.
Hey, all right. Hey, to the moon.
Let me see.
What is that? $2 now?
$4.92, I believe.
$4.92. It's up.
I believe it's up. Made some big money yesterday.
Anyway. All right. So, real quick, spontaneous text question.
Spontaneous text question of the day.
All right, I don't really have one, so this is truly a spontaneous text question. It is Groundhog Day. Can we get a spontaneous text question out of Groundhog Day?
I mean, probably.
We do it every single day, so it is sort of a Groundhog's Day type situation.
Solid.
Yeah, but we need a Groundhog Day spontaneous text question.
You could say a groundbreaking Groundhog Day spontaneous text question.
How about this? We have those magic tickets to give away.
Yeah.
Anybody who can text us in a good spontaneous text question based on Groundhog Day. How about that? Help us program the show today.
Hello, listeners. You do the work. We'll give you tickets as your payment.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Something like
No.
Redundant.
You don't do the work, Mike.
I can't even come up with it. I'm thinking of the movie Groundhog Day, and I'm trying to think of,
If you could,
Yeah.
I mean, if you had the chance to do over something from yesterday,
what
would you do?
If you had a chance to do over anything in your life,
Ooh.
how about that?
Yeah.
All right. And keep in mind that your answer will sort of help decide who you're taking to the game, because if you say something really stupid, believe me, you'll be inviting a friend, not your wife.
Yeah. All right, that's the we're no longer asking for suggestions. That is our spontaneous text question. All right. We'll have to figure out another way to give out the tickets. If you could go back and change anything in your life, what would it be? I know what I would be. I would go back to my senior year of high school with Sheila.
Oh,
Sheila.
oh, Sheila.
Sheila.
I would go back.
Wait. But see, but you do before you say that, and you're thinking back, and unless you're thinking of like a whole other situation. If you change that course in your life, you have no two daughters, or
No. I'm not saying.
no, you're not for the long
marry
run.
Sheila.
Oh, okay. All right. Understood.
All right.
Understood.
Picking up what you're
All right,
putting down.
text those into 50857. Straight ahead, our thought-provoking daily poll will attempt to answer this question. Could Tom Brady play until he's 50? That's next on Open Mic.
Open Mic. We'll be back in a
playing right now?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely consider that. And, again, I think, it's a physical sport, and just the perspective I have on that is, you never know kind of when, that moment is, just because it's a contact sport and there's a lot of training that goes into it. And again, it has to be 100% commitment from myself to keep doing it.
That was Tom Brady yesterday on the Super Bowl media Zoom call, answering a question, I believe, from Jenna Lane of ESPN.com. Could he play beyond 55? He said repeatedly throughout his career he would like to play until age 45. But now, at the age of 43 and preparing to play in his 10th Super Bowl, first one with the Bucs, he's open to playing beyond that. Wow. All right, so Brady's got one more year left on his contract. He signed a 2-year contract with the Bucs, $50 million. He's got one more year after this year, and then he's going to see what happens. So he'll be 44 next year when he leads the Bucs back to the Super Bowl. All right. How much longer can Tom Brady play? He played 20 years, obviously, with the Patriots. Now he's on his first year with the Buccaneers. Completely different offense. He was in the dink and dunk offense in New England. Now he's in the Bruce Arians no risk it, no biscuit offense, throwing the ball down the field. So far this season, including the playoffs, Adam Reardon, he has 5,493 yards, so 5,500 passing yards this season. That's the fourth most of his career. Again, it doesn't look – Tom Brady looks better than ever. He's throwing the ball down the field. I think he has 34 completions on passes of 20 or more yards this year. That's the most in the league this season, the most of his career. So he's throwing deep balls down the field, down the middle of the field. He's completing them at a higher rate than he ever has. Could Tom Brady, and again, I'm just throwing this figure out there, all right, because it's a nice round figure. Could Tom Brady be a starting quarterback in the NFL at age 50? Could he?
50's a long. That's 7 years from now, right? 6 years from now.
Yes, 6 years. Yeah, 6 years from
Man,
now.
yeah. I mean, as a guy who's turned 43 himself, and played a soccer game on Sunday, and now my legs on Tuesday are like, what was that all about? Man, obviously, and he's, takes much better care of his body than I do. It's just hard for me to believe that as you get older, all the players around you are younger, and their bodies are faster. 50 just seems like too much. Do I think he can play for another 4 years? 4 years in the league? Maybe. Here's the great thing about Tom Brady. And when you think about it, how often do you remember Tom Brady just getting absolutely destroyed in the pocket? How many times? Doesn't take hits, not injured. Even Peyton Manning. Think about Peyton Manning, right? Peyton Manning was I guess now the second best quarterback I had a chance to watch in my lifetime, next to Tom Brady. But didn't he have neck surgery? He had all kinds of issues down the stretch. Couldn't throw the football down the stretch. Tom Brady hasn't had to deal with any of that. So the only injury Tom Brady had to deal with was several years ago when he injured his knee. I think he tore his ACL early in the season. That's when Matt Castle came in and led the Patriots to an 11-5 record, and people like me were saying, "See, it's Belichick. Matt Castle leads them to an 11-5 record." Well, we all know that's inaccurate now. So, and here's the other thing. All right. What you just said, Brady doesn't really get hurt. He doesn't take hits. He doesn't take hits. He knows how to get rid of the ball quickly. The NFL rules today, as opposed to back in the day, NFL rules today protect the quarterbacks. I mean, the quarterbacks barely get a hit today. Even when a tackler has a blindside hit on a quarterback,
they almost pull up because they're afraid they're going to get hit with a targeting or a head-to-head, helmet-to-helmet type penalty. So that's why I think Brady could play, maybe not until 50, but 4-5 more years, maybe. I think he could.
I think 4 years is, like, if you asked me to commit to what I think that he could do, I think 3 to 4 more years at a high level. Now, can he stretch the career out and be a guy that, I mean, because at some point, at 45, 46, 47, at some point, this risk it, for the biscuit, get the ball downfield. How long is he going to be able to get the ball down the field?
Yeah.
Again, at some point, your body has to start breaking down, and it's normally before this point. So, I wonder if it's sort of like a great fighter. There's an old adage that sometimes you just get old in the ring that night, where these older heavyweight fighters look great, and then all of a sudden they get in the ring one night and you go, "Oh my God, look how slow he is," and you just didn't see it coming. It just happened one night.
That happened to me. Not in athletics, but one day I woke up, all right, and I couldn't read anymore. I couldn't see the words on the paper anymore.
Just one day, the day before you had read the paper, and you're like, I'll get back to that article tomorrow.
Yeah, and boom, like my eyesight, like my reading was gone, and then I had to go get reading glasses, and then I got LASIK, and now I read fine without glasses. But yeah, it was like boom, just like that. Reading eyesight was gone. I mean, I could still see, but I couldn't read. The words were blurry all of a sudden. I wonder if that's how the body goes in like athletics.
Well, it's interesting. The interesting thing about what you just said is why I believe Tom Brady can make it to 50. As I wrote my column over on 969thegame.com on the open mic section.
There you have it.
I quote the great Ricky Bobby. With advancements in modern science and my high level of income, who's to say I can't live to be 250, 300 years old? Now, while that's extreme, 250 to 300 years old is extreme, Tom Brady has the money, and science has come a long way in a very short amount of time. I'm done questioning if Tom Brady is eventually going to fall off the cliff into regularness. I'm done questioning that.
Just ask Barry Bonds how far science has come. Yeah.
Listen.
Hey, I have. If somebody told me that there's another Balco out there that we don't know about, that some of the high level athletes are using today, would anybody be shocked? And I'm not saying Tom Brady's doing that, but
no, I wouldn't be shocked if he were.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be. Again, there's no evidence of that. But if somebody told me, well, Tom Brady's been taking HGH shots to,
or he's doing new stem cells stuff. There are a lot of people doing the stem cell thing, like technology, science.
He bathes in bovine plasma. It's amazing.
Yeah. Remember when wasn't Tebow like sleeping in some hyperbolic chamber when he was playing football?
Anti-gravity, that
was only on Krypton though, when he would go and then if you put the wrong crystal in, then that's when he would complete 24% of his passes.
Yeah. Giselle's like saying to Brady, do we have to keep sleeping in the hyperbolic chamber, Tom? Yes, we do. To me, that's the reason he won't play until he's 50. I mean, he does have kids. He is married. He does have a family. Eventually, isn't he going to want to, for him to play at age 47, I mean, that takes a lot of physical commitment. It's not just, hey, I'm going to play the season. You have to keep your body in shape year round. I just don't know if he's going to be as committed to that because of family. we all.
It's not
we
like
all
a
have,
normal family, though. It isn't like she's at home right now going, "Are you going to give me some help with these kids?" And he's like, "Well, what about the 14 nannies we've hired? What are you talking about?" And like, you're my ex-wife going like, "Hey, you're always at these games and stuff, and I'm hearing that the kids are screaming and yelling. They got to be fed, and homework's got to be done." I mean, believe me, they don't have those issues in the Brady Bunchton household.
All right, go vote on our thought-provoking daily poll, which is how many more years can Tampa Bay Bucs quarterback Tom Brady play at a high level? You have a bunch of choices there. Go vote at 96.9 The Game. Straight ahead, Orlando City is losing its brightest young star temporarily, or is it temporarily? That's next on Open Mic.
96.9 The Game.
people that I've had in my life, my coaches, teammates, family, friends, all the people that have supported me. And, it's been an incredible team effort throughout my life, on the field and off the field.
Tom Brady talking about his brilliant career yesterday during the Super Bowl Zoom interviews with the media. I hate having to cover the Super Bowl like this. You cannot get a question in. I mean, usually when you go to the, I don't know, Adam, have you ever been to a Super Bowl? Well, you've been to some big sporting events.
Yeah,
right?
but unfortunately for me, I only use the access for my own personal gain and not for company.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, Mike, I don't know what it's like to actually get credentialed for those events and actually show up and want to ask you a question. Yeah,
Actually work at the event. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, usually at the Super Bowl media day or the interview sessions, the most aggressive reporters get in with the questions. I mean, you have to time it just right and then bust in, right when they're finishing with one answer, you have to bust in with your question. Well, with these Zoom interviews, obviously you have to press the raise your hand symbol on the Zoom, and then the moderator goes down the list, and it's always the same people, the big time national writers and the local Bucs writers get to ask the questions, and you never. I was on like 4 different Zoom interviews yesterday. I could not get a question in. So I don't like covering the Super Bowl like this, but again, it's the pandemic, and so I'm not going to whine about it as I just did. Did I just whine about it?
No. But can I ask a question? Because I've always wondered this, and one of the reasons why I've never been interested in going to press conferences, because generally speaking, I mean, if they ask 10 to 15 questions, or they allowed 10 to 15, and I don't know how many they allow. Mm-hmm. I mean. Or did generally anybody ask sort of what it was that you wanted to ask anyway?
Yeah. But like for instance, I'm doing a column for tomorrow or for today. I'm going to write it about the Bucs having 2 female assistant coaches. So they had those coaches on the Zoom calls yesterday. So yeah, most of the questions got asked, but there were a couple that I wanted to ask. Like I wanted to ask. Do you ever foresee a day where there will be a female head coach in the NFL? So nobody asked that one, but most of them get asked. I mean, with Tom Brady, of course, all the questions have already been asked before this. So anyway, all right, you need to edify me. Is that a word, edify? You need to clarify something for me, Adam Reardon. You are our soccer aficionado. You are the head women's soccer coach at Lyman High School. You follow European soccer, all of that. So Orlando City will be sending their young stud striker, the rookie last year, Daryl Dike, to the English side, Barnsley FC. It's a short-term loan, but the deal will include an option for Barnsley to buy DK from the Lions. The current option price is $20 million for 80% of DK's rights. If Barnsley were to buy DK and then sell him to another club in the future, Orlando City would receive 20% of that future sale as well. If Barnsley goes through with the option to buy, it would be the most expensive sale in the history of Orlando City. Now, they sold Kyle Larin a few years ago for a couple of $1 million, but we're talking about $20 million here. All right, so Barnsley, let me see. Barnsley is I'm looking for the information on Barnsley.
I think they're in the championship division.
Yeah, but they're in the second division.
Right.
What does that mean?
Like there's the Premier League and then there's the championship division. And so it's this. I believe it's the second league down. And so those are teams that are trying to get advanced or get promoted into the Premier League, where the television contracts are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So it is imperative. It is very important for those clubs to get promoted, and therefore, obviously the the interest in DK and maybe even the potential long-term interest in DK.
Here's what it says: Barnsley plays in the the Championship, the second flight league in England.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the second flight league. They're trying to get promoted to the first flight?
Yeah, to the Premiership, yeah.
Okay, so I'm reading a story now in the Mainland, which is a fan website that covers Orlando City, and they say the likeliest scenario is that DK gets some extra games and returns when Orlando needs him. Barnsley is currently 12th in the Championship flight, 36 points, which is 14 points adrift from a promotion slot and 13 points above relegation at the moment. If the Reds are safe from relegation by the end of March but seem unlikely to challenge for promotion, it's reasonable to assume DK would come back for the start of the MLS season. Explain that.
Yeah, so basically you have a point system over there in European soccer, which is 3 points for win, 1 point for a draw. And so when you either win or lose or draw games, you acquire these points. And I believe in the second division, the first two teams are promoted automatically, and then the next four teams play a 4-team playoff for that third promotion spot. And so they're trying to work their way into basically the top six. You got to get into the top six. And so adding a player of this caliber, or what they believe is this caliber, maybe is the difference between 1-1 draws and 2-1 wins, and then getting themselves close to that top six so they have a chance to advance to the Premiership again, where the television contracts are so huge. It's like a team that has enjoyed the NFL contracts. To not have the NFL contract, have to play in the Arena League, and then get promoted back to the NFL, and you're like, whoa, this is great, this infusion of money into our club. And if they continue on the pace that they're on, they're not going to get relegated. It doesn't look like they're going to get relegated, which is dropping down to the next division. But this is sort of, well, we talk about at the trade deadline, teams going out and adding, pitching or something like that in Major League Baseball. You're getting an offensive guy because you're trying to make a push for the playoffs, and we'll see how it lands. This, to me, Orlando City fans, here's the thing, and I hate to sound like, for my MLS friends that love the, this is kind of what you want. This is really what you want. You want young guys.
You want a load of cash?
You want
a load of cash?
You want young guys that are talented enough where teams in Europe go, hey, we'd like this guy. You loan him out, which right now we don't even know if the MLS is going to play. So this is an opportunity for this guy to continue to play, stay in shape, I say stay healthy. You hope he stays healthy, but he's going to stay in shape at the very least. And if things work out for him over there, and they say, yes, we'll pay the $20 million plus you get 20% of if we sell this guy, if that next club sells him to Real Madrid, that is a huge infusion of cash for a club like Orlando City.
Okay, stop right there then.
Yeah.
Stop right there. That huge infusion of cash, do they have to spend that cash, or can they just put it, can Flavio, the owner, just put it in his pocket?
You don't have to. I don't know if there's a minimum. You have to spend a minimum in the MLS, but they're clearly already spending it if it's the minimum. You would like to think that clubs and the biggest clubs around the world, believe me, when they get the cash, they spend the cash because they want to win.
I'm just a little bit cynical in today's economy. Obviously, MLS teams lost a load of money last year. I mean, maybe.
To your point, this is the problem with American sports because there is no promotion or relegation. There is no penalty for you if you spend the bare minimum as an owner of a sports franchise in this country, because there is no danger that Orlando City gets dropped down to USL 1 if they just sit on their if they just sit on their money and have the Rowdies promoted to the MLS, there is not that fear. So you're right. That money could come in and they can go, well, we're just going to replace DK with this guy from the over 40 league. We're calling up Adam Reardon.
Adam Reardon
for the league minimum. They could do that because there is no penalty. Sports in this country are geographically based entertainment competitions. It isn't competitive in that realm where, look, if you don't spend the money that you have and you don't put the best possible team out there, you could lose being in that first division, and that's what they battle over in England. You could lose being in the second division. Hence, this team has come out and gotten a really bright American star to hopefully change that for them.
What do you think's going to happen?
I think he goes over there and then probably comes back. But again, best case scenario is the guy goes over there, scores like 7 goals in 4 or 5 games, and they win 4 or 5 games in a row, and then all of a sudden, you want to see young Americans go over to Europe and play. With all due respect to the MLS, if a young American...
I want to see Daryl DK in an Orlando City uniform. Because he's exciting and fun to watch.
Yeah, but
why would I want him? Why would I want him to go play somewhere where I don't watch the game?
I guess technically, if you're talking about for Mike Bianchi, maybe that makes sense. But if you lived in Durham, North Carolina, right, and you watch the Durham Bulls, right, and I don't know who they're affiliated with. Let's say the Yankees, and you see this guy hitting home run after home run for the Durham Bulls. Guess where he goes next? He goes to the Yankees. He gets promoted to that, and you want that for those guys, and you want that for your organization.
Okay, but the Durham Bulls isn't the height of the sport in this country. MLS is the height of soccer in this country. The Yankees are the height of sport.
Well, if you ever want to tune into a World Cup at any point in your lifetime and think like, hey, I think we got a chance to make some noise here, then the Daryl DK's got to go over to Europe, okay?
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying for him it's not good, or even for Flavio's finances it's not good. I'm just saying for Orlando City fans who are fans of Orlando City, they're not fans of Tottenham and Man U. They're fans of Orlando City.
Certainly not fans of Barnsley.
yeah, Barnsley FC. All right, let's pause for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach, FM 96.9 The Game, the home of Orlando City Soccer Club.
What you reading there, honey?
It's very exciting stuff, you see. It's the front page of the internet.
Here we go with the front page of the internet this morning. We start off on YouTube's trending page where 2 videos are really blowing up right now. The first of which comes from Australian YouTuber Laserbeam. It was a solid attempt. Laserbeam. Mike, I want to get your reaction to this specifically. So, this video is titled TikToks That Made Me Laugh. It has 5.3 million views. This is a video where people watch Laserbeam, who is the YouTuber, watch TikToks. So it's similar to like someone watching someone play video games, except they aren't even doing anything other than just watching another video.
Good God.
It's got 5.3 million views.
That's unbelievable that people have this much time on their hands. It is unbelievable. This is why the American workplace. This is why there is less and less production in the American workplace.
Absolutely.
My opinion.
Our kids are watching a YouTube of some girl like looking at makeup videos and like breaking them down, and I'm like, oh my God. And it's got like, whenever I walk past the TV and they're watching that stuff, you know the question I ask? How many subscribers do they have? And they tell me 6.4 million subscribers. I said 6.4 million people tune in every day to watch this lady watch other people do things.
Yep.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. The other
real
video,
quick. I'm going to keep complaining about this.
All right. That's why I brought it up, Mike.
Yeah, so I have I used to have a roommate, all right? This was a couple years ago. And he was from Malaysia, all right? And he was a civil engineer, all right? And I asked him one time, how do you like working over here? And he goes, not a lot of work goes on in my office. He goes, everybody's on their Facebook and on their computers not doing work. So
the American dream, get paid to be on the internet.
Mike Bianchi asked that guy, what do Malaysian sports writers get paid? I'd love to go over there where nothing but work is going on.
That's right.
Right? Yeah.
Today's cricket match.
The other video that's making waves on YouTube's trending page is the mid-season trailer for Marvel Studios' WandaVision, which just finished up showing episode 4 on Disney Plus. My wife and I are absolutely hooked on this show. If you aren't watching WandaVision, you need to go do that. You will be highly entertained. Just saying. 1.6 million views on the trailer.
Are you going to get to GameStop, by the way?
I will get to GameStop. I will.
This guy over here, Mike.
He's so mad at me.
Old Butterhands over here.
He's so mad
Butterhands.
Here we go. I'll tell you in a minute. Happy birthday today to Dwayne Chapman, better known as Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's 43.
Get on the floor before I shoot you.
Dog the Bounty Hunter is?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Oh, come on. You know who Dog the Bounty Hunter is.
No idea.
Dog the Bounty Hunter is... Dog the Bounty Hunter
is that a show?
Yeah. Yes. He's 50. He's a bounty hunter, and he got famous because he looks like a
80s wrestler.
It looks ridiculous. He's
I'm a bounty hunter. That's what I am.
He's
little Molly Hatchet.
53, but because he smokes so many cigarettes, he looks like 146.
So he's 68 years old.
Yeah.
And then the second part is also true.
True.
146
Oh, God,
years old.
terrible.
He does not look great. All right, here we go. Moving on to Reddit.
This guy.
Okay, so a couple things. The Robinhood CEO is expected to testify before the U.S. House Committee on February 18th to talk about whether or not he influenced the markets, which is illegal. GameStop is going down. It's down to 100 and...
It was down to 150 this morning, but...
Of course, Wall Street Bets still saying, hold the line, hold the line. They're having a conspiracy theory saying there's insider trading going on, causing it to drop, so that way the hedge funds are still making money, all that sort of stuff. But Adam
How dare those insiders try to influence the market? Oh, that's what the Wall Street traders are doing.
Well, I mean, everyone's trying to influence the market for themselves, but the thing that is frustrating for me is that these guys are hold the line, hold your stock, hold your stock. At some point, and I said this yesterday, get out, get your money. If you've got your money, get out. You got a wife and kids. Pay for college, pay for something.
Mike,
seriously.
We went to war. The little man went to war against the big, and we're all on the front line. We're like, you guys ready? You guys ready? And you got my back, Austin. And we turn around and look.
Hell no, I do not.
I see Austin's back with his gun in his hand, running like Forrest Gump, getting the hell out of there.
That's right.
Like a couple bullets got shot off here. You know, we're diamond hands. We're holding the line, and then there's Austin running.
That's right. Sell.
Send to the chopper.
That's
Come
right.
get me.
Guess what? It's down $200. If you bought in at $5, you've still made a nice profit.
$5.
Get out of the game.
Could you imagine Austin if you were in a union together fighting for your workers' rights and then like the company offers Austin like a $5 raise. He crossed the picket line. This guy right here is the Rick Neuheisel of the stock game. Like 3 days ago, it's diamond hands this, diamond
to the moon, baby,
to the moon.
Nokia still to the moon.
Yeah, Nokia until Nokia hits $5.34 and he gets the. I'm getting my quarter out of there.
I'm back out. I'm out.
I'm gonna make a phone call with this.
Getting my $7.50 and going home.
I gotta get out, man. I got bills to pay. All right. I got hamburgers from McDonald's that are burning a hole in my pocket, and that $7.50 is gonna pay for it.
You should have seen like his whole demeanor today changed. The stock took a major hit yesterday, and like yesterday it was all about like, hey, this is it. This is like revolutionary. This is history in the making. We're watching history. And then he's like, speaking of history, I'm history. I'm getting out of here. I'm out of here.
I'm not going to, I'm not sinking both ships, okay? I'm going to take my raft and I'm going to get out. All right? That being said, go
Austin
ahead, Mike.
Pistolka, you stand for nothing.
Dude.
You
What are you
stand for
talking about?
nothing.
I stand for making sure I'm taken care of.
There is some guy in Nebraska right now that is like so happy that Austin got into radio as opposed to the military. Like, hey, this this guy's got your back. No.
Hey, I'd love to be in a foxhole with Austin Pistolka.
Nope,
Austin,
no, you don't.
where are you?
I'm telling you
Where are
right now, you do not.
Yeah, no,
Listen,
you're not
I'm
in
not
the
going to
foxhole
stab you in
anymore.
the back, but I just won't be there, all right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to stab you in the back, but I'm surely not.
Retreat, says Austin Pistolka.
Yeah, I'm surely not going to be there when the bullets start flying.
I got family to take care of. I'm looking out for number one. I'm looking out for three people, me, myself, and I. All right, that's it. With that being said,
the flag at Iwo Jima, Austin Pistolka. You have the guys planting the flag, and there's Austin Pistolka down behind the hill there trying
Made
to
it
keep
out.
from getting shot.
World War II, Austin's over there like sprechen Sie Deutsch?
I was working as a double agent the whole time, guys. Don't you worry.
He was like, I'm just learning this German just in case. Just in case. I don't know how this is going to go.
Just
okay?
holding out, okay? Listen. With all that being said, I may not be here for all of you, but I'm here for you right now because I got a pair of tickets to tonight's Orlando Magic game taking on the Toronto Raptors. You can listen to that game here on 96.9 The Game. Call in right now, 407-916-8255. Pair of tickets. Mike, why don't you tell them what's coming up on the show?
What's coming up next is Sound Off. That means we're going to hear the quotable quotes from all the newsmakers in the world of sports. That's coming your way on Open Mic.
Now,
That is the Sound Off Music. Sound Off brought to you by Super Bowl 55 for the 34th consecutive year. Westwood One will be the network's exclusive radio home of the Super Bowl. For the first time ever, we here at 96.9 The Game have partnered with Westwood One. We will be carrying the Super Bowl live from Tampa. Coverage starts at 2 p.m. this Sunday. Listen on FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, HD Radio 101.1-2. What do we have, Austin?
Sound off. Michael's one of my sports idols, so I think he's pretty incredible. And I think for me, it's about being a part of a lot of great teams.
We start off with Tom Brady, quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, talking about how he could be passing Michael Jordan for a number of championships. And Michael Jordan, obviously, many believe to be the greatest of all time in basketball. Tom Brady, widely believed to be the greatest of all time in football. Would this surpass Michael Jordan as Tom Brady being the GOAT of all GOATs, Mike?
It would be, a lot of people would say Bill Russell is the GOAT of all GOATs, but this would make Tom Brady first of all, Tom Brady is already the GOAT of all GOATs in the modern era because he's taken the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl, all right? He's taken the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl. This would be like if Michael Jordan leaves the Bulls after winning 6 championships and Michael Jordan went to the Washington Wizards after he left the Bulls. If he'd have led the Washington Wizards into the NBA Finals, then Michael Jordan would have an argument as being the GOATiest GOAT of all time, but he didn't do that. In fact, the Washington Wizards didn't even make the playoffs with Michael Jordan on their team for a couple of years. So, yes, this makes Tom Brady the GOATiest GOAT of the modern era.
Sound off.
What do you remember about those virtual workouts the first time with Coach?
Oh, man. Oh, I tricked them. I would bring my shirt out, and then I would bring another shirt out. So when I'm running the sprints, I would film myself like 15 times for that session, that workout session. But I would run it in a couple different shirts because you only had to send in like 2 or 3 reps. So then when the next time came, I didn't have to film myself because I already filmed myself running in a different shirt every time on that one day. And he hasn't had a clue to this day that I was tricking him about half the time.
That's Rob Gronkowski being the most Gronk we've ever heard, talking about how, listen, I didn't do all my sprints. I just faked it. I faked it one time, said in the videos. Adam Reardon, this is the most Gronk thing ever, isn't it? And he's the only one who would be able to get away with it.
Yeah, no, this is like, right in his script. This is right in his wheelhouse, which is actually pretty funny because, obviously the issues we've had with, COVID, these guys couldn't work out in a certain place. So they had to work out kind of remotely. And part of the deal is sort of like with our kids, you had to, take a screen grab of your homework and send it in. Well, his homework was, hey, do these sprints every single day. And what he decided to do was just wear a bunch of different shirts on the same day and then send them in, separately. So it looked like he was running all these days. And you're right. He's one of these guys that has built his persona into such where he gets a pass for sort of, being lazy. I mean,
guess what? Travis Kelce's not faking his workouts, okay, Gronk? George Kittle's not faking his workout. That's why you are no longer the greatest tight end in the league.
Whoa, man. It's not because he's old and, has back problems.
Maybe if he worked out harder, his body wouldn't fall apart.
Yeah, that's how that works.
But to me, it is interesting that he does get a pass for a lot of different things. Like if this were, some other players in the league, I think they'd be like, you're cheating the game. What about the integrity of the game?
I think that about Gronk now.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him a free pass. Hell no.
Because he's always been about the integrity of the game.
I'm not giving him a free pass for being lazy. No way. It's your job to work out.
It's his job to catch touchdowns. He does that in the Super Bowl. We'll all forget about these shirts.
How many passes has he caught? They don't even throw him the ball anymore. They throw it to Cameron
literally said Gronk was going to be the #1 tight end in fantasy football this year, Mike.
He wasn't. I was wrong.
Mike didn't know he wasn't doing his wind sprints during the offseason.
I thought he was gonna. I thought he was gonna try. I thought he was gonna try. I didn't know he wasn't gonna try hard.
This is the dumbest conversation we've had today, and we talked about GameStop earlier.
Cameron Brate's better than Gronk.
Am I upset? Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of his, and I know what he can help do for a team, and most of all for the National Football League. And so I think he's so deserving of that opportunity, and I'm hoping someday it comes. I was expecting it last year, and it didn't happen. I definitely thought it would happen this year, and it didn't happen. But I think he's as ready as anybody.
I was very, very pissed that Byron didn't at least get an interview this year for the job that he's done. I think I get way too much credit, and so does Tom Brady, for what the job that Byron has done.
So that was Andy Reid first talking about Eric Bieniemy not getting a head coaching position, and then followed up with Bruce Arians talking about Byron Leftwich not even getting an interview for a coaching position elsewhere, and both of them saying that they were outraged, upset that their guys who do a fantastic job didn't even get a look at. Mike, how big of a problem is this with the NFL?
I think it's obviously think it's a huge problem. That's why they have the rule, right? That's why they have the Rooney Rule to sort of prevent this. Now, obviously, Eric Bieniemy got interviewed for a couple of jobs, including the Jaguars. But here's the problem. All right, here's the problem with Eric Bieniemy. All right, people give Andy Reid credit for the Chiefs offense because Eric Bieniemy is not the primary play caller. But what's the excuse for Byron Leftwich? He is the primary play. I guess with Byron Leftwich, people give Tom Brady credit and don't give him the credit. So again, this is a problem with the NFL when guys like Eric Bieniemy is not. I mean, when you have a 65-year-old lifetime assistant coach who's never been a coordinator get the Houston Texans job, and Eric Bieniemy is not getting it, there's some issue there.
We've got a lot of jawing going on the front row. Look at that. And now the security is getting involved.
And the security is actually, the referees are actually telling the security they may want to usher somebody out of the building.
They might be gone. I think this was happening also. Somebody was all over LeBron.
And they're still on LeBron. I think that's what it is.
A few minutes ago, and I know he was glaring into the seats. I think LeBron, obviously you can see he's not that upset about it. I think
as long as it's nothing
they're
malicious.
not kicking him out. It's just...
fans ever...
So that was the call when... Courtside Karen.
They did kick him out, by the way.
Yes, she did end up getting kicked out. Courtside Karen is trending all across social media today after the interaction between her yelling obscenities at LeBron James. Supposedly, according to her Instagram account, LeBron James fired obscenities at her as well, but nobody has seemed to be able to corroborate that. And, man, didn't we miss having fans in the stands for this exact reason, Adam?
Well, I would say this, that with the limited amount of fans, people can make out what you say a heck of a lot better when you're courtside and when you're close by the court. And so the things that maybe you used to be able to yell at LeBron, it was getting muffled by everything else. Everybody was yelling at LeBron. Now LeBron can hear what you're saying, turn and look directly at who's saying it and pick you out, and then if you continue on, security will come over. I do believe that fans have the right to be at these games, be boisterous, even heckle some. I don't know what she said, but there's sort of a line. What
it wasn't her. Evidently, her husband was having a back and forth with LeBron, and
LeBron fired back.
And LeBron fired back at her husband, and that's when what's her name, Courtside Karen said don't effing talk to my husband that way, and then they got into it. So, and here's the thing: the reason they got kicked out was not because that they were having an exchange with LeBron. The reason they got kicked out is because courtside Karen was yelling at LeBron without her mask on. So they kicked her out. She didn't have her mask
the
on.
rules. Get out of there.
Yeah. Well, here's my question. Why are these fans courtside anyways? You got a zillion. You don't have to have these fans courtside during a pandemic. For crying out loud.
Mike, I've got the answer for you.
Money.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
right.
Well,
big money boosters.
That's it.
Lord.
That's all it
Courtside
is.
Karen and bank account Bill.
That's right. That's the sound off for today.
That is your sound off for today. Straight ahead, Tua Tagovailoa. I'm not so sure anymore. He is going to be the Dolphins' starting quarterback next year, and I don't think Tua is so sure either. I'll explain next on Open Mic.
This is Mark
there was a back and forth between two grown men. And, we said our piece. He said his piece. I said my piece. And then someone else jumped into it and said their piece. But I didn't think they were, should have been kicked out. But they might have had a couple of drinks maybe, and they could have probably kept it going, and the game wouldn't have been about the game no more. So I think the referees did what they had to do. It's fine. I don't think taking down the mask or whatever the case may be at that point in time, would have harmed anybody but the people that was right next to her. I wasn't close enough to her. I don't think any of my teammates was close enough to them. Maybe a couple of refs, maybe. So I hope they're okay. Safety first.
That was LeBron James talking about his verbal altercation with courtside Karen and her husband last night, the Atlanta Hawks game. And the reason he said he didn't think they should be kicked out. Well, the reason they were kicked out is because it's protocol at NBA games that you have to wear your mask, especially if you're courtside. So, she took her mask off and was yelling at LeBron. And LeBron said, well, they might have had a couple of drinks. You think? You think? Of course they had a couple of drinks. In fact, courtside Karen went on Facebook.
Instagram.
Was it Instagram last night? And talked about how she was drinking her drink while she was yelling at LeBron.
If you want to see that whole rant, the whole NSFW rant, you know where to find it. It's the open mic page on 96.9 The Game.
Cheap plug.
There you go. You can go see the whole thing right there. All right.
And a lot of jokes that happened on Twitter.
Tua Tagovailoa, of course, Miami Dolphins quarterback. He believes he can be the Dolphins franchise quarterback, but he knows he better start proving it with better play in year 2 next year. Here's what he said yesterday during an interview with Sirius Mad Dog Radio.
What's it like to hear your name or have people tell you that your name's involved in possible trade talks with Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, I would say that's something that I can't control. I don't have any control over, those trade deals and whatnot. But for me, my job is to, help our team win games and, help our offense contribute to the success of the team. I have really high expectations for myself, and I didn't meet those expectations this past year. In my mind and in my heart, I'd like to hope so. But, for me, with the way things went last year, you always got to come out wanting to prove yourself to be better and to want to do better.
Okay, that last response, and that was Dan Patrick, and that was 2 different interviews. We just compiled the clips right there. So that was Dan Patrick and Mad Dog Radio. That last clip was, I believe it was Mad Dog Radio asked him if he thought the Dolphins were all in on him. And he said, I would hope so. In my heart, I hope so. Well, in my heart, I'm not so sure the Dolphins are all in on him anymore. I mean, these trade rumors keep coming up about everybody knows that Deshaun Watson's trying to force his way out of Houston with the Texans. He's demanding a trade. He wants a trade. Now, he has a clause in his contract where he can essentially tell the Texans what teams he wants to be traded to. I would think that the Dolphins would be a team that Deshaun Watson would check off as saying, yeah, I'll go there. I'll go there. I mean, the Dolphins obviously winning record this past year. You're living in Miami. You're, again, you've got a good defense. You have a head coach who looks like he's going to be a really good young head coach. So why wouldn't Deshaun Watson want to go to the Miami Dolphins? The question is, if you're the Dolphins, do you give up on Tua this quickly, and do you trade him? And they have 2 draft picks in the first round, the number 3 and the number 18. Do you give up Tua, the number 3, and the number 18 pick for Deshaun Watson? I do. Deshaun Watson's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. In fact, this year, he was the leading passer in the NFL, and he was on an awful team. I would, if I'm the Dolphins, yes. I mean, to give up 2 draft picks for a sure thing at quarterback, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that?
Man, I don't know what it is about the 2 first-round picks in the same draft. I mean, you've got 2 of them, right?
3 and 18.
Yeah, 3 and 18. I don't know what it is about like not having a first-round pick. I guess if you said, "Listen, we're going to take these 2 first-round picks and we're going to get Deshaun Watson for it," it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, but man, I would love to see them, deal the 3 pick. And then maybe a first round in the next year or something like that. Because at that point, you do believe you're going to be making the playoffs, and it's a late 20s pick as opposed to 18, where you can still get, some sort of quality for your team. Maybe a receiver, because there's a bunch of good receivers coming out in the draft. I think missing out on a receiver for the Dolphins, in the first round, getting one of those top 3 to 4 guys. I would love to be able to do both, but if held the gun to my head, I guess I would prefer the quarterback, the proven commodity too, because we don't know what we have with Tua yet. I mean, the returns aren't necessarily all in, but as of right now, you don't love it. And Deshaun Watson was as good a quarterback as there was in the NFL. He was just on a bad team.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get to we have a poll question about this. We'll get to that during the blast coming up. Also coming up, Julia Poe, our Orlando City insider, will ask her, is Daryl DK, the Lions' young star, is he gone temporarily or for good? That's next on Open Mic.
96.9 The Game, FM, HD. Online at 969thegame.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app. And on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeartRadio station.
This report is sponsored by
or a plumber fast, it's the Frank Gay way, frankgayservices.com. We start off with the open mic thought-provoking daily poll, which you, yes you, the listener, can vote on Twitter at 969thegame. How many more seasons can Tampa Bay Bucs quarterback Tom Brady play at a high level? Is it 1 more, 2 more, 3 to 5 more, or 6 or more? Mike.
I don't know if he can make it to 50, all right, but I think he can play 3 to 5 more years the way he looks right now. I mean, the guy has been unbelievable this year. He's got 5,500 passing yards this season. That's the 4th most of his career. He has 34 completions on passes of 20 or more yards. That leads the league. This guy's not some weak, noodle-armed quarterback like Peyton Manning was at the end of his career. This guy is still throwing darts at the age of 43 years old. And the way the NFL protects quarterbacks today, you can't touch these guys. Tom Brady, he can play... I'm going to say Tom Brady could play to age 47. That would be 4 more years.
Yeah, 3 to 5 sounds about as much as I'll go, because I do believe at some point you got to get old overnight, and there'll be a day where, and especially in this league, that if you start underthrowing balls by a half a yard, those are interceptions now. Those aren't completed passes and touchdowns and Mike Evans going up over a defensive back. Those are now interceptions. And so, man, 3 to 5. What's the other option? 1 to 2?
1 more, 2 more, 3 to 5, 6
I'm going to go 2 more. I'm going to go 2 more, and then just the age just catches him. And once you lose a little velocity on the fastball, guess where those balls go? Into the parking lot.
43% of the vote says 2 more seasons.
Okay.
Supplemental poll number 1, with TV ratings for sporting events tumbling during the pandemic, do you think ratings for the Super Bowl will be up or down from last year? Ratings up or ratings down?
The Super Bowl, by the way, is immune to ratings drops. There's going to be no tumbling of the TV ratings during the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is always, without fail, the most watched TV program on television every year. It is the one event that brings America together like nothing else. I mean, we talk about the commercials. We talk about the halftime show. We talk about everything that has to do with the Super Bowl. You've got Tom Brady trying to lead a new team into the Super Bowl, or that's a huge draw. You've got Patrick Mahomes. That's a huge draw. And even though we found out earlier, according to Mark Daniels, Nielsen ratings do count those who watch outside of the home now. I just think so many more people are going to be staying home watching the Super Bowl during a pandemic that the ratings are going to go up 5 to 7%.
I think the ratings are going to be up. I think that, with the storylines that we do have, this will be an interesting. People will tune in to see if Brady can do it with a new team, do it without Belichick. Hey, Mahomes trying to back up last year's Super Bowl championship with another one. I think there's enough storylines here to get people excited about watching the Super Bowl more so than maybe in years past.
With 54% of the vote, ratings up wins this one. Supplemental poll number 2, should the Miami Dolphins trade quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and multiple first-round draft picks to the Texans for quarterback Deshaun Watson? Yes or no?
Absolutely. I mean, we don't know if Tua's going to turn out to be a great quarterback or not. We know Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. And any NFL team, what did we figure out yesterday? Like 20 of the 30 teams should try to make a deal for Deshaun Watson. Well, the Dolphins are one of those teams. Again, send Tua to the Houston Texans. If he turns into a great quarterback in Houston, good for him. But you will already have a great quarterback in Deshaun Watson, the man who led the league in passing this past season, despite being on a bad team, a man who's more mobile. He's healthier than Tua. Why wouldn't you want Deshaun Watson if you're the Miami Dolphins or you're making a push for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, if you're the Dolphins and you believe you're just this one piece away, then you make the deal. I think they're a couple pieces away, so I hate giving up both those first-round picks. But I guess if push came to shove, Deshaun Watson would make a major difference for that franchise.
With 54% of the vote, yes, make the trade. Supplemental poll number 3. With yet another Orlando Magic player, Aaron Gordon, out indefinitely with an ankle injury, why have the Magic had an inordinate amount of injuries over the last 2 seasons? Do they just have injury-prone players? Is it faulty training? Is it that all teams have injuries, just deal with it? Or it's Buzzards' luck?
Buzzards' luck. Well, there's some of the Buzzards' luck, but I'm gonna go injury-prone players. I'm at Jonathan Isaac again, fragile, delicate. Mo Bamba, sort of the same. Doesn't have a really strong frame. They drafted Chuma Okeke with a torn ACL, and now he's injured again. And those are just 3 of them. All right, I'm gonna go injury-prone players.
What were the option? What were they? The first
Injury-prone players, faulty training, all teams have injuries, or Buzzards' luck.
It's injury-prone players. I mean, as Mike mentioned, these aren't guys that showed up and don't have any question marks about them. And I know I poke fun all the time. One guy they drafted literally in a wheelchair, or at least on crutches. Yeah, you can't expect guys to come back and be 100% healthy and whatnot. And you look at some of the legs on some of these guys. I mean, why are we skipping leg day all the time? Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Hey, listen, everybody likes the upper body days, or the gun show. What about leg days? Okay, you guys are using your legs a bunch. So yeah, injury-prone players.
39% of the vote says it's just that damn Buzzards' luck. It's just all it is. Supplemental poll number 4. Now that he's been loaned out to an English soccer club, what are the chances of young star Daryl DK returning to Orlando City SC? Are they non-existent? Is there a 50-50 chance? Or are there good chances that he'll return?
I'm going to say good chances because this team he's going to, not a great team, but it doesn't look like they're going to be relegated. Doesn't look like they're going to be promoted either. So maybe they got him on a short-term loan just to take a look at him for the future. But right now, I think there's a good chance he'll be back with Orlando City if there's an MLS season.
Yeah, I think he'll be back with Orlando City if there is a season, which is a pretty important distinction to make. But if he doesn't, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for U.S. soccer.
No. Who cares about U.S. soccer? I care about Orlando City soccer.
Right. It's America, baby. America.
I love it.
America.
Whatever. Okay.
It's a good,
we want World Cups, brother.
Yeah, listen, $20 million of this transfer.
He can still play in the World Cup, huh?
20% of any future transfers? Are you kidding me? Be a
Cash
good deal.
Money.
If Daryl DK's back, it's because there's a season and he didn't do so hot over there, which will make me go like,
49% of the vote says his chances of coming back are non-existent. He gone.
What?
He gone.
That's ridiculous. We'll ask Julia Poe about that coming up.
And finally, the open mic Would You Rather poll. If you had superpowers from an unknown origin, would you rather let the government experiment on you and figure out where those powers come from? Maybe you create a serum to make other superheroes. Or do you not let that happen and be wanted and always on the run because the government wants you and your vigilante justice? Which are you doing?
We have to get Austin off of these Marvel comic movies that he
was just saying earlier, like, me and my wife are really into these movies. I can tell.
Yeah, they're great.
What is this question? This is the dumbest would you rather question ever.
Oh man, it's so much worse than would you rather fight, great white shark or a gorilla?
Yes.
Because I could literally find myself in that situation one day.
So dumb.
I might vacation in South Africa and have to fight a shark. I may go to the jungles
Fine,
and fight
Mike, you come up with your own damn would you rather questions every single day.
Would you rather get attacked by an alligator or a shark? That's the kind
You
of
know
question.
what? I'm putting an end to this. 91% they'd be a wanted superhero for vigilante. I'm done with this. I'm calling Julia Poe.
What is that?
I'm calling Julia.
A wanted superhero for vigilante.
I don't understand
vigilante
that.
justice.
You guys are so frustrating. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm calling Julia. She'd understand the question.
Would you rather 25 GameStop stock or 160 Nokia today? What would you rather?
Neither. How about neither? All right. So anyway, I do think we're going to have Jeff Turner on, by the way, Magic broadcaster extraordinaire. We're going to have him on at 8:15. I want to ask him. He played in the league for a long time. Obviously, he's watched the Magic, followed the NBA for a long time. I want to ask him, is this unusual? How unusual is it for a team to have this many injuries over a 2-year period? Doesn't it seem like, is it because we follow the Magic that much closer than any other team that we don't know what some of the other injury situations are in other teams?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because the other day you were making fun of like the Miami Heat. You're like, the Miami Heat the Miami Heat have been injured all over the place, including Jimmy Butler. You know, he's just finally came back. You know, but we don't focus on that team. You know, we have a micro focus on this franchise, so we see every bump, every bruise. Other NBA teams are dealing with it, missing, 3 or 4 guys off their roster that they've had to fill holes for. I'd imagine. I'm just assuming, but I should.
Well, we'll ask Jeff Turner that question, one of the many questions we'll ask him at 8:15 this morning. Right now, though, let's pause for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach, W245CL Deltona. This is FM 96.9 The Game.
Oh, there it is. Orlando City's music. That's their theme song. Big news with Orlando City yesterday. Rookie sensation Daryl DK has been temporarily loaned out to a English side. What's the name of that club again, Adam?
Barnsley
FC. Orlando City insider Julia Poe. She works for my newspaper, the Orlando Sentinel, and OrlandoSentinel.com. You can check out her story on this at OrlandoSentinel.com. You can also hit her up on Twitter. Follow all the Orlando City happenings on Twitter at @ByJuliaPoe. You changed your Twitter address recently, didn't you?
I did. I was getting too many questions about it, and I was like, we're just going to simplify this out.
Now I've got to change it now. I have to change it. We have the video aspect here, and I've got the wrong Twitter handle on here now.
All right, Julia, explain to us. One of our poll questions today was about Daryl DK being temporarily assigned to the European side. All right, and the poll question is this. All right, now that he's been loaned out to Barnsley FC, what are the chances of young star Daryl DK returning to Orlando City?
So the chances are pretty good, honestly. I mean, this is obviously was a little bit scary, I'm sure, for a lot of Orlando City fans when they first saw it. City fans really, really loved seeing DK come out and have such a standout rookie season. They want to see more from him. This loan is short-term, so the longest that he would most likely stay is just through May. So the MLS season starts in April. The championship season runs through May. So this is not going to be too long-term of a stay. Daryl, in all of his language when he was kind of talking about it in the press release and online, has been saying, I'm looking forward to getting back to Orlando. So that language is in there. The important thing about the contract, though, is that there is an option to buy, but that option to buy is $20 million. And Barnsley being as a second-tier team in England, they're not necessarily going to spend that much money. The most they've ever spent is under $2 million, if I'm remembering correctly. So the only chance really here is if they decide to buy him and immediately flip him up to a Premier League team. That's the most likelihood of what's going to happen there. Obviously, there's other chances. I mean, if Barnsley was promoted, they might be able to come into kind of the capital to do that and make that decision. But it would have to be a pretty extreme circumstance for that to happen. There's a high likelihood that Daryl will be coming back to Orlando.
So again, I'm reading your story, and I'm reading some of the other stories online. So Barnsley is probably not going to be relegated down, and they're probably not going to be promoted up. Why are they acquiring Daryl DK right now?
Well, it's really a win-win for them. I mean, it allows them to bring in, they're close enough to promotion where it lets them kind of check out this young player whose stock price has been booming, since his performance last year. It allows them to just kind of see if he can give them that extra little oomph and momentum without necessarily having to take as much of a risk. I think it's one of those things where, he could bring a lot to Barnsley, but it's a low-risk situation if he's not able to produce to the level that maybe, they would hope for at the upper end of his performance. So it's a good experience for both of them, and I think that it's one of those situations where it's going to give Daryl time to adjust and grow in a new league, but it's also going to give this new team a chance to kind of check out, see what he looks like, and then also possibly get him, some interest on the English market, which Barnsley could also, benefit from in the future.
Orlando City insider Julia Poe from the Orlando Sentinel. She's right here on Open Mic. All right, I want to do a little role playing with you, Julia. All right, you are now you're no longer Julia Poe. You are now Flavia, the owner of Orlando City. All right. Would you rather have Daryl DK back this season, or would you rather have that $20 million that Barnsley could potentially buy DK for from the Lions?
Man, I mean, that's a hard decision. That level of money could do.
That's why you're the owner. You have to make these decisions,
Yeah.
Julia Poe.
Hey, this is why I'm a reporter, not trying to go into the business side of things. Sometimes I don't know how they make these decisions. I think the one thing that makes that decision really hard with Daryl is that I don't think anyone knows where his ceiling is yet. I don't even know if Daryl knows where his ceiling is at. And when you look at him and you see his work ethic and how quickly he can learn and pick things up, it's like you don't know what you've got on your hands here. On the other hand, I think that there is an understanding that Daryl, with where he wants to go, especially with the men's national team, there's a high likelihood that he is going to be making this move to Europe fairly soon, within the next few years, if he continues to grow and continues to perform like he did as a rookie. So the question there is, how do you maximize that transfer to make sure that you get the most out of it? Do you think that you can get more out of it in the future? Do you think that now you strike when you've got that good of an offer? So, I think the $20 million is definitely them trying to get a price tag out there early on Daryl to see how they can start, testing the market for him. But I'm not sure how you make that decision. It's like I said before, it's hard to turn down $20 million plus that 20% future pay cut, since they're only offering 80% of his rights right now.
Okay, if the outside chance happens that Barnsley does go through with the option to buy, it would be the most expensive sale, you write, in the history of Orlando City. It would, way surpass what they got for Kyle Larin a few years ago. Whatever happened to Kyle Larin? What's going on with him?
He's still playing. He is. I need to check where he's at after the season. He's not playing in MLS anymore, though.
So he hasn't thrived since he left.
Yeah, he was also before my time on the beat. So he's one of those that I know a lot about, but have not been tracking because he was well before my time when I arrived here.
Okay. All right. MLS season is scheduled to start. Preseason begins February 22nd. Opening weekend slated for April 3rd. We've got the CBA dispute here. What's going to happen with that, and what is happening with that?
Yeah, it feels like this is every preseason there's a little bit of a conflict with this. We come down to the wire with whether or not the CBA is going to go through. I think there's more cause for concern this year, just given the economic tensions on both sides caused by the pandemic. We're all seeing that. We've been in this for a year now. And the 1 week extension that went through last week expires at the end of this week. And I think as we're nearing that, it'll be interesting to hear from both sides. It seems like there's been more tense discourse when MLS announced the decision to extend the deadline another week last week. They said that the players in the league are still extremely far apart on the issue, even though both sides have made concessions, particularly the players tried to meet the league halfway last week. So it's one of those situations where it does seem like that looming threat of lockout, which MLS has definitely been very clear that they're willing to go into if they don't meet the deadline this week, it does seem like it's more likely than it might have been in the past.
I wonder, Julia, with the amount of money that MLS lost last year, that they say they lost about $1 billion because, no fans in the stands, or a limited number of fans in the stands, and that's where they make most of their money. Is there a school of thought that MLS wants the season to be postponed and pushed back, maybe until the vaccinations, really is proliferated out there?
There have definitely been speculations made to that. I'm not sure how much they would benefit from that, given that they were the ones that set the start time to begin with. It's not like they had that start time pushed upon them, and I don't think that players or fans would have been necessarily. I think players and fans would have been open to the league saying, "Hey, we're going to postpone the season start a little later than normal so that we can get you guys back in the stands." I don't see that being a major hurdle for players or fans to get through if that was the stated plan. Again, I'm not hearing their proposals, so maybe that was proposed and it was shot down. But it seems like it would be strange to delay the start time that you yourself set. So
good point.
I'm not sure. I have definitely not heard anything, from anyone that I'm talking to, but I've definitely heard that, that thought from fans, especially just kind of trying to figure out what's going on, because clearly there is so much going on behind the scenes that we're just not privy to right now.
In about 45 seconds, can you give us a Cliff Notes version of what is the major issue between the two sides?
Yeah, it's mainly different sections of the collective bargaining agreement that was agreed upon last year and then has now been brought back up for revision due to the force majeure clause. So it's a variety of things. It's mainly how long that CBA is going to last. The league wants to keep their current agreement longer due to the pandemic and hand over less money up front to the players so that they can, in their words, make up some of the money that they lost. It's also issues like how early players can go into free agency. The players would like to open up free agency at an earlier age than it clearly is. So it's a lot of smaller issues like that to fans might not seem like a big issue, but they help the players, really establish themselves in the league.
Julia Poe, thank you so much for giving us some knowledge on this topic. We always appreciate you joining us. We will talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks so much. You guys take care.
Julia Poe, it all comes down to money. I never understand these issues when it comes to the collective bargaining agreements. I just can't get the free agency and the force majeure and all of that. Do you understand it, Adam Reardon?
Isn't the force majeure, that's like acts of God and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's where they can say, hey, the CBA, what we agreed to is off because of force majeure. What we previously agreed to doesn't matter because of force majeure.
Yeah, we can't pay you what we told you we were going to pay you because of this COVID thing. Not our fault.
Exactly.
Blame God.
All right, straight ahead, Jeff Turner, Orlando Magic broadcaster extraordinaire, will join us, and we'll ask him, is it unusual for an NBA team to have this many injuries? But first, we have your chance at $1,000.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword
I get to listen to the original Magic theme song you brought back for this segment. That is awesome.
We play it every time the Magic win a game. Unfortunately, they haven't won many games, or they didn't win many games in the month of January. A miserable January, and of course, it came to a close. We found out the news yesterday. Aaron Gordon, it looks like he's going to be out indefinitely. The Athletic is reporting he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with that high-grade ankle sprain. Obviously, you played in the league. Is this a high ankle sprain? Is this what this is?
I'm thinking. I guess that looked to me. I mean, he rolled it all the way over. I'm not sure about the technicality. It just the severity is what I'm guessing of the grading it, rather than necessarily a high ankle sprain.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. I'm curious. We were talking about this earlier, just going through the laundry list of Magic injuries. Is it because we're just closer to the Magic and we pay attention to all the injuries? I would think this is pretty unusual. Have you seen a team experience this many injuries over, I don't know, a 1 or 2 year period?
Well, I think you're right, Mike. I think because we're so close to it, it seems bad. I can't offhand. I mean, I know there have been teams that have lost players to injury, but it just seems like, particularly with our young players. David Steele and I were talking the other day, and you start thinking about Jonathan Isaac and Markel Fultz and Chumo Kiki. I mean, these are guys that you've drafted high, or these are your future, and we're not getting to see them because of all the injuries. So, I think that's the frustrating part is, as you look you're trying to build something here. The guys that you're looking to for your future, they're not getting out on the floor, so I think that's a big part of the frustration that we all have. With all these injuries, on top of the losing that's happening.
A guy who is starting to get a little healthier, it seems, and getting a little more playing time, Mo Bamba. What are you seeing from him?
When he gets in the game, he does some good things. So I'm guessing, Steve Clifford's in a kind of a bind now. Without Aaron Gordon on the floor, you lose a couple things. Obviously, you lose the playmaking that he's been giving us as kind of our backup point forward, if you will, and you lose his ability to guard fours. The bigger players alongside Vucevic. So I'm guessing, if I'm Steve Clifford, I've got Gary Clark over there. I can play at the four. He's a little undersized, but my best defender probably is Kim Birch. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Mo Bamba start to get a little bit more time now, which he needs. He needs to get on the floor and play. So maybe Kim playing a lot more of the backup and primary power forward, and Mo getting a few more minutes at that backup center spot. So but he's had a tough year. Mo Bamba has, dealing with the implications of the COVID-19 virus, and he's in and out of the lineup and missing training camp, and it's been tough. But hopefully he can get some more minutes coming here in the near future.
Jeff, I hate to keep coming back to the injury situation, but is what's going on with some of the other guys? Are they scheduled to be back soon? You just mentioned Chumo Kiki. Of course, yeah. Michael Carter Williams hasn't played. Al Farouk Amino. Are you hearing anything about, is the cavalry coming around the corner here? Well, because the Magic certainly need reinforcements.
Yeah, Mike, I wish I knew. I mean, here's the thing with, all the COVID protocols and everything. We're just not around the team. So all of the things that you would pick up from, being at practice and traveling on the road and seeing guys, we're just out of sight. We're not around. So the information that I get is pretty much what you get too. So we're watching, the injury report come out. We had heard that Michael Carter Williams was close, and then Steve Clifford in one of his pregame things said that he had a setback. So I really don't know. The word we're getting now is that Chumo Kiki is getting close, which would be great. That obviously gives us a little bit more size at that 4 position if we can get him back. So as far as Aminu, really not getting a whole lot, other than what we see on the injury report.
Orlando Magic color commentator Jeff Turner, he's right here on Open Mic. So I was watching you guys telecast the other night. Jonathan Isaac joined you guys, I believe it was for the first half of the game. What's his mood like? What's his demeanor like? He was really good on TV. I'm just wondering, what did you learn from that experience with him?
Well, you know what? You're right. Like, he did a great job. I'm hoping that he gets full recovery and gets back on the court, so he buys me a little more time in my position. He did a great job. He sounded very upbeat, but that's Jonathan Isaac. He says the rehab is coming along. He's starting to do a few more things. That's getting out on the court and shooting a little bit. I just. It was fun listening to him and getting a little insight. I mean, he's Magic through and through. He was rooting on every shot, and we just really enjoyed having him. He's boy. I tell you what, we'd love to get him on the court. He's one of those guys that I think is a difference maker. Going back to our previous, what I was saying previously. Can you imagine having Jonathan Isaac and Markelle on the court? I think it just changes everything for us.
Obviously, the number one difference maker and has been for years is Nikola Vucevic. I'm curious. This guy's playing as good as he ever has. Can this guy make the All-Star game again? And how good is he playing?
Well, he's playing great. The way, he has expanded his game. He's taking more threes and making them. I think he's got a great chance of making the All-Star game simply because, obviously, he doesn't do things that are going to show up on, the highlights on any of the NBA highlight shows or anything like that. But every time, in pregame comments, opposing coaches, are asked about Nikola Vucevic, and they all talk about what a matchup nightmare he is, and how they have to game plan for him. So, I would think that Vuce has a great opportunity to make the All-Star game as one of those coaches' selections, simply because he is having an All-Star year. I thought, one of the things you talked about the broadcast the other night with Jonathan Isaac, and Jonathan was, I thought, right on point in that, his what he said was, we're not helping Vooch, meaning the team, because the team is performing so poorly, it really it makes it hard, right, for guys to make the All-Star team when you're going through a losing stretch, I think. So, if we could get a couple of wins here, going into the middle of when the coaches' selections come out, that would help. But I hope that's not going to be an issue for Booth because he is playing, he's one of the top centers in the league. Certainly, probably the best three-point shooting center in the league right now.
Hey, real quick, I don't know if you saw either the clip or the whatever, some courtside seat fans got kicked out of the game last night because they had an altercation with LeBron. They were Hawks fans, and there was an altercation. Just your thought, should we have courtside seats during a pandemic? And I know the money has a lot to do with it, obviously, right?
I know. You know what's interesting? I was flipping through the games last night, and I actually watched that in real time. And we all want the fans on. I think even I read their account this morning. Even LeBron was like, "Hey, we want the fans in here."
Yeah.
He likes the banter going back and forth with the opposing fans. Boy, it's a tough one. The lady, I think that was one of the main offenders. She actually walked up, to the sideline. There's a line there where you don't cross, and she was right at it. So it makes it tough. We've all got to be really careful, especially when you're screaming and yelling at players. I just think it's
without your mask on, by the way.
Do what?
Without her mask on, she was.
Yeah, she pulled it down to yell at LeBron. So that doesn't do any good if you pull it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think the NBA's got to do a good job of policing that. We haven't had any of those issues in Orlando, I don't think. So that's been good.
Jeff Turner, you can watch him tonight broadcasting the Orlando Magic versus the Toronto Raptors. Tip-off 7 p.m. You can also listen to Jeff on the radio if you're not in front of a television set right here on FM 96.9 The Game and AM 740. Jeff, we always appreciate it. Thank you for everything.
All right, Mike. Thanks for having me.
That is the magic word with Jeff Turner. Right around the corner, it's the Mark Daniels word. The Bridge coming your way next.
Mark Daniels joins Mike Bianchi on The Bridge next.
Man, I just saw the numbers again yesterday. COVID is still spiking.